Let's go.
Hey guys, Erwan Heussaff here, and welcome to Daily Habits. Today we'll be talking about one of the things that I struggle with the most, and that's how to stay motivated. Like with everything, you get really excited about something and you start on a high and you do extremely well and you're so proud of yourself. And then something goes wrong, and then something happens in your life, and then something happens at work, and then your car breaks down. And then just it snowballs into this negativity and you let that weigh you down, and all of a sudden you just can't find that spark anymore. You can't find that motivation. And then month by month, it just seems to get worse and worse and worse till you are just this ball of negativity and you don't want to do anything anymore. You just want to sleep and eat potato chips. This has happened to me so many times, and I just want to let you know from the get-go that it's 100% normal, and more importantly, you are not alone in this struggle. So today we're gonna work on that. Once you've hit that bottom, it's really easy to give up because you are just petrified and anxious and fearful to do or try absolutely anything, because the fear of failure just becomes overwhelming, and the fear of the unknown becomes overwhelming. And the older you get, and I'm starting to know this now that I have a family, that can really kind of play with your mind in terms of just always thinking about potential problems and possibilities. And it does really put a lot of weight on your shoulders. And I think it's really important to say, you know, we're all figuring this out. There is no magic pill to keeping you motivated or to make you get up in the morning and do something. And honestly, the best way to do it is to just get up and try to do it. I know this is like tired and repeated advice, but you need to try. You need to try to be better. You need to try to smile more. You need to try to be friendlier. You need to try to progress harder, because that's better than the opposite. And what's the opposite? It's doing absolutely nothing. And how's that gonna help you, right? If all you're doing is pitying yourself and just wallowing on your failure and how unmotivated you are, you're not really doing anything. You're not helping yourself, and you're eventually not helping the people around you. So it's really important to just get up and do it. As hard as it might be, as scary as it might be, you need to just try and do it. I know it's easier said than done, and that's usually the thing about advice. Advice, most of the time, great advice is simple. It's just hard to do. And that's how the world works. So I think there are a couple of ways we can approach it to maybe help each other out. The number one thing that I like to do when I feel absolutely motivated, I'm gonna take the example of work. The last few weeks, especially because I'm still in Australia and I usually work in the Philippines for people who don't know. It's been really tough to communicate with the team back home and get work done the way we used to do things when we were all in the office together. That was my biggest challenge in 2020. And what happens with that? It's the demand of our clients doesn't really slow down. So in terms of the project load that we have, it doesn't slow down, but we are slower in terms of delivering things and getting things done. We're still getting them done properly and well, but just not at the same level of activity and excitement that we used to when we were all together in an office. And so what happens is that creates roadblocks, and eventually it clogs things up. Like we come to a point where in December, it was tough because we just had a lot of things lined up and I had a lot of things that I needed to do. And it felt like this huge mountain. I was looking at this huge mountain of just a pile of work that I was extremely unmotivated to do because it just felt overwhelming. And then I realized, I'm like, you know what? Let's just start listing things down, all right? These are the things that I need to do and things I need to accomplish. Instead of looking at it like a huge mountain, I started looking at it like 10 meters here, 50 meters here, 20 meters here, really breaking it up into small, achievable goals that I knew if I took my time with it and I did them well and I did step by step, I would eventually chip away at it.
Now, talking about those little tasks, I think a lot of people, when they talk about motivation, they come at it from a perspective that you need to enjoy what you're doing. And I think that's very dangerous, simply because life is full of things that you're not always going to enjoy. We all say, oh, find a job that you love and you never work a day in your life. I love my job. I love everything that I do. There are things that my job requires me to do that I don't necessarily like doing. Accounting, doing my taxes, firing someone, getting mad at someone who hasn't done their job properly. These are all things that are unfortunately part of what I do, and I need to do them, but I don't enjoy doing them, but they're part of the larger ecosystem of what I do. So I think if you look at motivation from that standpoint versus it has to be exciting and something that I enjoy and something that I'll wake up every morning wanting to do, it's gonna be more real. And I think a little dose of reality is needed, especially because we're all hyper connected nowadays on social media and stuff like that. And we see people who just look happy all the time. Trust me, no one's happy all the time. So you think that they're the types of people that wake up in the morning and they smell roses and there are birds chirping and it's like a Cinderella beautiful story, but that's not how things work, right? So everyone has to do things that they don't like doing. And I think that's so key when we're talking about motivation, because it's like a snowball effect, right? The more you do, the more you'll want to do, the more you'll be practiced at doing something, the more you become efficient and productive with it, the more you realize how good you've become with it, the more you're able to achieve, the more you're able to succeed. And that happens not because you're liking what you do, that happens because you've trained your mind to attack different tasks and accomplish them and make them part of your routine, and have the discipline and the rigidity and the grit to do things every day, to do something small every day, to take that first step, to try something every day. And that is for me motivation. It's momentum, right? If you look at motivation from a momentum perspective, you're a ball moving down a hill, you're gonna keep going and keep going and keep going. And that's where I think we all need to kind of have that conversation, and where we all need to leave off from. Once you have that discipline, once you have that momentum, once you have that feeling that you're moving forward, regardless of what you're doing, regardless if you're not liking what you're doing, but you're moving forward, you're going somewhere, you're moving, that will motivate you, because the more you look back and the more you see what's behind you and what you've accomplished so far, the more motivated you will become. When you're doing this, when you're moving forward, completely forget about the pressure to be perfect, because no one's perfect. So you'll make mistakes. I think life is all about making mistakes, figuring out what that failure was, question yourself why you made that mistakes, and grow from it. All right. So the less you question yourself in terms of, oh, I'm not going to do this because I don't think I'm going to be really good at it, the more you'll be able to move forward, and the more you'll be able to motivate yourself to do things that you want to do. That's why I think discipline is so key, because it teaches you to do things that need to be part of your routine, that will eventually lead you to success, but there are things that are not necessarily things you like. Give you a really good example. I know meditation is amazing. I know I should be meditating every day. I know I should be putting more effort into doing meditations. The issue is, I think meditation is extremely hard. Meditating for me is scary because I don't want to sit down for 20 minutes and just be with my mind and be with myself and question myself. Like I have a personality where I keep thinking, right? I'm always having thoughts. So sitting down for 20 minutes is daunting for me. But I know if I do it every day, I'm eventually going to get better at it and it'll become easier. But that doesn't mean I'll enjoy it. It doesn't mean I'll enjoy it, but I'll be able to do it, right? And I'll be a better person for that. And so how do you explain this properly? Like what I'm trying to convey to you guys is there are things that we have to do in life that you'll never like doing, but they're part of life and they'll make you a better person eventually. And meditation is exactly that. If you're like me and you don't like meditating, but you do it, you'll still be better for it. And I think you can only do that if you have the discipline to do it. If you have the discipline to do something every day and make it a habit, like what we're trying to form now, then you'll be able to accomplish great things. There's a saying where they say you need to eat a frog in the morning. I don't know where it came from, but I think I read an article once, or I listened to a podcast where they said there was a saying that said, eat the frog in the morning. And the reason behind that is because no one likes to eat frog. Well, French people like to eat frogs, but imagine eating a raw frog in the morning. You don't want to do it, but if you have to do it, then you'll do it. And if you have to do it, you'll do it in the morning. So that way you can enjoy the rest of your day. If you have to eat a frog and you decide to eat that frog at night, then you're going to spend all day thinking about that frog and fearing that and not wanting to do it. And it'll ruin absolutely your whole day, because that's all you're going to think about and obsess about is that frog and eating that frog and how disgusting it'll be. But if you pinch your nose, you eat that frog, you take a shot of tequila, you get it over and done with, then you can just relax. You can think, yeah, that was disgusting. I hated it, but I had to do it and I did it. I'm kind of proud of myself for eating a frog and I accomplished it. Now I can focus on things that I want to do. And that's what I want you guys to work on. What are your frogs? Do you have a pet frog? No. But what are the frogs? And then try to accomplish those frogs first thing in the morning or first thing every day. Get it over and done with. Get the things that you have to do that you don't enjoy doing. Get them done. And then focus on the things that you like doing. Focus on you. Focus on your progress. And what's going to happen is those little tedious, little tiny tasks that completely leave you demotivated, if you do them every day, in a week's time, in 2 weeks' time, you'll be able to look back 2 weeks and then think, wow, I've done so much. I've accomplished so much. And that motivation is what's going to keep you going 2 weeks at a time. So hopefully that helped you out. Hopefully what we're doing today, hopefully this becomes a habit, whether you enjoy listening to me or not. I hope that I either answered some questions or made you ask yourself some questions. So that was today's daily habit. I'll see you guys in the next one.